Take a moment to look around you. Do you see Lady Khadija in your life today? Known to be one of the 4 women of paradise, Lady Khadija was an extraordinary personality who played a stellar role in shaping the early years of Islam. Her contributions, however, often go unnoticed. Most of us know her by association, the wife of the Holy Prophet, the mother of Sayyidah Fatima, or the grandmother of the leaders of paradise. Let's embark on this journey together to rediscover a few of the many gems she has left us with. In the 6th century, Makkah was an important trading hub. It served as both a destination for several trade caravans as well as a place of transit to Syria and the Mediterranean region. It became a center for the exchange of manufactured goods and a point of distribution for agricultural produce to the land of Hijaz. Based in Makkah were the Quraysh, the most prestigious tribe of Western Arabia at the time, which mainly comprised of merchants. Lady Khadija was born in Makkah to Khuwaylid, a wealthy merchant in what was known to be one of the most noble families in Arabia. Upon Khuwaylid's death, his children inherited his fortune. Family fortune can tempt one to live a life of idleness and luxury. However, Lady Khadija understood the ambivalent character of wealth and made up her mind to work hard on her own. And soon, the citizens of Makkah bestowed upon her the title of Malikatul Arab, due to the enormous value of her caravan in comparison to the merchants of Quraysh.
She seems to be that woman who had the beauty and the brains to be a powerful businesswoman of that time, in a time when the community or the society did not even give the woman the right to live. She had extracted the title of Malikatul Arab from these people at that time, which means that she also was a force to be reckoned with in that kind of a community. And I think for all these reasons and a lot more, that she chose to marry the Prophet, and through that Allah made her not just the mother of the believers but also the grandmother of the Imams of the Ahl Bayt.
Even when the odds were against her, Lady Khadija continued to rapidly expand her business while helping the poor, widows, orphans, but most importantly, the girls who were disregarded in the Arab society at the time. She was endowed with such extraordinary intelligence and character that she was able to build her own empire as well as help those in need. Towards the end of the 6th century, Lady Khadija Salamullah Alaiha assembled her caravan, but she had not found someone who would take charge of it as her agent. Abu Talib alayhi salam learnt that Khadija was in need of an agent who would like to take her cargo with the caravan to Syria. Abu Talib had faith in the capacities and faculties of his nephew, Muhammad peace be upon him, and was confident that he had the skill set to handle the responsibilities of an agent. Therefore, with the Holy Prophet's agreement, he called on Lady Khadija and approached her with the subject of his candidacy. Like most of the other citizens of Makkah, Lady Khadija had already heard about Muhammad, son of Abdullah. One thing she knew was that she could not question his integrity and his reputation as a man of honor, both of which aligned well with her own principles.
Business can be really tough, especially when you're under pressure due to some difficult targets that you're up against. And it's in those moments where our character is really tested, and some of us maybe feel the temptation to take a backhander from there, or maybe to make a white lie to get that promotion or to get that sale through. But when we look at Sayyidah Khadija alayhi salam, a lady who inherits her family business but then expands it to such a significant amount, you see a lady who has such a character and virtuous morals and values that inspired Lady Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, and of course attracted the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. A lady who, even when she's conducting her business operations, has these values and these morals and this akhlaq, abiding by the Sharia. And I think this is something that when we face these difficulties in the business world, we can also put into practice. Look up to her and say, no matter how difficult it gets, I'm not going to cross that red line, because I know that my Creator is the sustainer and I leave it all in His hands so long as I tie my camel.
Over time, Lady Khadija had come to learn about the contributions of the Holy Prophet through her servants such as Maisara, who would accompany the Prophet on the business trips and were in awe of his personality. Soon after, she approached the Holy Prophet with the topic of marriage. This auspicious union led her to become the backbone of the Holy Prophet, especially when he was ridiculed by the Makkans after his declaration of prophethood. She kept her faith in the Holy Prophet and his message and became the first woman to accept Islam.
الذين ينفقون في السراء والضراء والكاظمين الغيظ والعافين عن الناس والله يحب المحسنين.
Those who spend in ease and in adversity and who restrain their anger and forgive others, and Allah loves the doers of good. The verse before this talks about the Muttaqueen, pious one. And verse 134 continues by describing them as those who do not only give in easy times but also when the going gets tough. And that is exactly what Lady Khadija did. Even in the times of hardship, she sacrificed her hard-earned wealth in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, such that she had nothing left but was a constant source of comfort for the Holy Prophet.
When I think of Sayyidah Khadija, I think about an accomplished woman of the 7th century who is such a inspiring role model for the 21st century women as well. One of the striking parts of her character is that she was invested in education. It took a long time for women to fight for the right to educate themselves. And here is a 7th century woman who used to regularly invite the scholars of the book, the heavenly scriptures, and they would sit together and have conversations and discussions around that in her house, even before the Prophet had declared his messengership.
The life of luxury and comfort, a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that was bestowed upon her, soon turned into a struggle of resilience after the social and economic boycott of Bani Hashim. We always hear the story of the thirsty children of Karbala and how they looked upon Abu al-Fazl as their hope for water. During the boycott, it was Lady Khadija playing that role, being the only hope for the Muslims, using all her wealth and gold to secure food and water for the Muslims in the valley of Abu Talib. Consequently, when Bani Hashim returned to Makkah after 3 years of toiling and severe hardship, Lady Khadija fell ill and passed away. Her financial condition was such that she was unable to afford a coffin for herself. Narrations mention that she was wrapped in the Holy Prophet's cloak, as the coffin procured by him was not enough to cover her body.
Yeah, the reason, obviously we are having a bit of quite a personal conversation today, because I think a lot of people struggle from very similar issues, and this is something I've always seen as well, that everyone looks at everybody else thinking that, oh, they've got their life together, they know what they're doing, they're so confident, they're so brave, and then when you hear someone and you sit down one-to-one and they're just like, I'm a mess, I don't know what I'm doing. But everyone thinks that about everybody else. But it's like only when you actually interact with someone do you kind of realize that actually, you know what, we're all exactly the same.
We are. And I really want to put that out there. And as I said, I always think about the idea of keeping it real. Yeah. Because, you know, the same way I went to this event or got invited to Google to San Francisco, they said, I don't feel like that's anything unique or that's anything special. Anyone can do it, right? And so let's be real about the struggles. It sometimes is a very lonely journey. It sometimes is like, what am I doing here? You know, nobody else is following through. So many times I, approach brilliant software engineers, Muslim women, software engineers, or, graphic designers, or women making a difference who are super brilliant, 10 times better than I am. And when I'd approach and be like, can you come and speak at this event, or can you come and represent? They'd hold back. And so for me, it's always like, okay, so when is everyone else going to join me on this journey? Okay, when is everyone else going to be part of this? Yeah. And it does, yeah. So there are little issues here and there. It's not all wow glamorous. Going to America on a 12-hour flight, going and coming back, and you've left your children, and you're just tired from having to speak at events and meet loads of people. So it comes with its struggles. But at the end of the day, once you've got that final goal in your mind, I think just go for it.
Her strength, independence, altruism, and leadership led her to embark on a journey that began as Malikatul Arab and ended with her being recognized for her endless contributions to Islam in its early days. It is rare to find these qualities and the presence of all these virtues in a single personality. That in itself is a sign of her status in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Regardless of her reputation in society, Lady Khadija did not shy away from consulting with her family in business matters or her companions when it came to the matters of marriage. The life she led is a lesson for all, regardless of gender, age, or status, which is why she can be considered a role model for all.